Good morning, everybody. This is Phil Chenevert with Why Do We Say That? Um, Today, uh, I've been listening to books. And by the way, I finally watched some of my videos that I make here. I was showing somebody and I was aghast at, man, I'm too close. My hair's all sticky out. I don't watch them after I make them. So it came as a shock to me. So I'm standing further back now. See, I'm learning. Anyway, I listen to books on tape. And by the way, if anybody wants to give me any suggestions on how to do these things better, please do. I'd love to hear it in comments. The word upshot is used a lot. I've listened to two separate books recently, and they all just use this word. The result. Upshot is a result. The upshot of the discussions was that they decided to. It's a decision, and it's a really useful phrase. What is the upshot? The upshot is the final conclusion. Um, so I started researching. I'm not researching, but looking at my notes. I don't make this stuff up. This is real. And it's tied in with archery, and I couldn't really separate all the wonderful words in there. So let's start with archery. Archery is where you got a bow and arrow. The word arc or arch. Think of an arch like a column with an arch across it. That's the source of the word for archery. And of course, when you shoot an arrow, it goes, believe it or not, in an arch. Yeah, unless you shoot it point blank, which I'm going to talk about too. So, an arch for the arrow. The bow is shaped like an arch. That's where that word comes from. Point blank. Uh, in medieval times, when they would practice archery, the target or the butt would have a white center. The bullseye, we call it now, would be white, and the French is point blanc, meaning point at the white. Now, point blank, we use that now, and I use it to say, man, I told him point blank, or which means a straight out. But the more traditional meaning is very close. He shot point blank. That means he was very close to the person or thing he was shooting at. And he comes from the French point blanc, meaning aim at the white. Now, why does that mean close? It's because when you shoot an arrow, how can I put this? You have to correct for gravity. I'm not an archer, okay? But you have to aim up. If you're shooting here, you have to aim up so it'll go like that and hit. You'll see archers when Olympics, they'll aim like that. So there's an arch in there. But when you get close enough to a target where you can aim directly at the bullseye, at the white, point blanc, that means you're very close. And that concept came to mean, well, first of all, meaning very close to something. I shot point blank. And then now by association, it's come to mean, I, in speech, I told him, point blank that I'm not going to put up with that foolishness anymore. No. It means sort of a direct forcefulness. So we've got archery, then we got point blanc, or point at the white, point blank. And now we finally come to upshot. Upshot is used to mean the result. In contests of archery, in the medieval contests, which they were very serious, by the way, it would frequently come down to two people shooting, and they were very close. At that point, would be the umpire, and it was mostly French, would yell out "Je perdue," meaning the game is in danger, meaning it's a tie match. That's what that came, Je perdis, meaning it's tied. And this next shot that they're each going to take is going to be the deciding shot. By the way, je perdus, guess what word we got from that? We got jeopardy. Yes, it's in danger. Jeopardy, you're in jeopardy, comes from this umpire yelling, je perdus. And everybody knew, this next shot is going to claim it. Well, the actual shot was called the upshot. the final shot in an archery contest that made that decision. Which one's going to win and which one's going to lose. So we've got archery, point blank, and upshot. It's all tied together, folks. English language is wonderful. By the way, the Greeks didn't like archers. They thought that was unmanly. Get up there and stab your enemy right there. Don't shoot at him. The Romans didn't like it either. By the way, didn't care for it too much until it ran into the barbarian archers who mowed them down, and they said maybe archery is not a bad idea. Okay, this is Phil. I'll be back whenever the spirits move with more word origins.